Really? Bitch.
Hey, fellow disasters. And welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, to another episode of Really Bitch, where we talk about men.
I guess to add some context, this is off the back of, and I know everyone's fucking talking about it, so this isn't new news, and it's going to be old news by the time this episode goes live, but Harry Styles, what should have been the controversy? That dress was ugly. That dress was fugly as shit. I just did not rate, man. I did not rate.
I like how our priorities are the dress is ugly.
The dress is ugly.
And everyone else is popping off about men.
Oh, you know what dress they should have put him in?
What?
The strawberry dress.
Oh my god. Yes.
Right? Like, that is like a manly man.
Yeah. And it's a dress. I cannot get over that. My guy, it's a dress.
It's a dress, bro. It's not that controversial. And I know we're here talking about it. And it's like, oh, it's not fucking move on. And here we are talking about it. But
no, I think what we're mad about is that why now? Because Jaden Smith, Prince, David Bowie, oh come on, there have been countless people,
so many men who've expressed their femininity. But this is the thing, I think this is my beef, right? No disrespect to Harry Styles, like, you do you, but then you look at the and obviously you're gonna get haters regardless.
Oh yeah, regardless.
But it's interesting to me when you see the level of celebration for typically white men who are embracing their femininity. You look at you got Harry Styles, you got Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
All these men who are like white dudes embracing their femininity. You see those guys on the pedestal, and yet like men of color who've also been equally embracing their femininity. I mean, Prince is, he's an exception to that rule. But I mean, I think of so actually the two dudes from Moonlight, right?
Oh yeah,
Oscar award-winning film.
Yep.
About black masculinity, but also homosexuality within the black community, toxic masculinity, all of that jazz, all of that good stuff. And the main dude, Ashton Sanders, who plays the younger version of the main character.
Yeah.
And he's quite fluid in terms of the way he presents his gender. Skip to a year later, Call Me By Your Name comes out. Timothée Chalamet, rises to stardom off the back of that.
Yeah.
And again, he's constantly being congratulated by the press, by fans, because he's, embracing his femininity and he's in touch with his feminine side.
Yeah, but
he's unafraid to wear a fucking harness on the red carpet or whatever. But it's Ashton Sanders existed,
Yeah, men of colour don't get that. They
don't get that same praise.
No, definitely not. And I don't know if it's an online thing or what, but online I definitely see this. If people of colour, men of colour, especially black men, if they want to do something outside of their gender norm, it's like they're immediately branded as gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is so strange because obviously it's 2020, everyone has different viewpoints. Look, if you don't agree with a dude wearing a dress, that's your problem. Fine. You don't need to, it's not going to affect you. Certain people, a lot of online stuff.
Yeah.
You see it being somewhat celebrated with white men and then I just never see it with black men. I see women praising those men and being like, this is so good that you're able to be your true self and, not care or whatever. But all of the comments from the men are just beating this guy down.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously this is an outsider's perspective. Like,
oh yeah,
we are
completely
not from the black community. We're not black men. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. This is just what we see happening online.
Online, yeah.
This is just one facet.
Yeah, and this is an outsider's perspective on it. But it always interests me. Like, I remember, like, compared to, like, as much as, you know, Candace Owens was losing her shit over...
That was so funny.
Over Harry Styles, yeah?
Bring back manly men.
Manly men. But equally, so many people were celebrating Harry, right? People were like, oh, fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a couple of years back, Jaden Smith, as you mentioned, how much flack did he get for rocking it up in a skirt?
This is my question, right? If they are so comfortable within themselves and their sexuality, why would they have to do that? Because you're obviously not. You're not confident in your masculinity, your sexuality, or even yourself as a person.
Yeah.
If you have to do that to someone, or like, even if it's online, because you can say whatever you want online and no one can know it's you. Like, it's all anonymous, whatever, at the end of the day. You can do that.
Yeah.
But it just really proves to me that you have these issues you need to deal with.
And you know what? Tina Noir, I want to say. Well,
so this YouTuber,
she's amazing. I fucking love her. I remember she did a video about, like, you know, feminine presenting black men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she made like I think it was her. She made a really interesting point about how drag especially has been used to in media, let's say, and this dates back to slavery in America particularly. Drag is used to emasculate black men. Why I think there's a lot of contention there with, like, yeah, there's context to it, I think.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Obviously, again, I'm not well versed in the area, so I don't claim to be. But I think that kind of,
it definitely plays a part, like,
there's a
aspect of it.
there. You do see it, like, even like comedians like Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
you know, they use drag as a way to be like to ridicule, like, black men. It's a form of emasculation, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's maybe it's rooted in that. Like, for them, it's
always been like the
and
it's like always been the punchline,
right?
like the butt of the joke.
Yeah, but then do you think, like, maybe a way to help change that narrative is society, also we as a collective, should start to empower black men who choose to embrace their femininity and
100%.
be more fluid, and, you know, empower those voices as well, as much as we praise the white boys for doing it.
Oh my God, right. Like we said, Harry Styles is not innovative. The team that styled him is not innovative. They're not radical.
It's not groundbreaking.
It's not
Like,
groundbreaking.
and again, no hate to him. And I'm not saying that he's claiming to be groundbreaking.
Oh God,
it's
no.
More so, I think the way the media are talking about it.
Yeah, it's the reaction it got.
So I find it, again, it's interesting because femininity, or being seen as feminine, is praised now. It's almost like, oh, this is so hot that Timothée Chalamet paints his nails. I mean, he doesn't, but, you know, whatever.
Feminine looking things.
Yeah, right? Like, what is traditionally seen as feminine, you know, when white men take on those things, adopt those things, it's seen as, you know, groundbreaking. It's sexy, it's hot. And yet, being feminine, or feminine presenting, or having predominantly feminine traits or whatnot, was always used to degrade South Asian men, or Asian men in general.
Yes.
South and East.
Yes.
It's always a thing. Like,
okay, perfect example I can give: Korean idols.
Yes.
Korean idols.
I remember when I first got into K-pop. Before it was like really, really kicking off to the point where it is now.
Yeah, like when we were at school.
Yeah, like Taemin, for instance.
Oh, I love Taemin.
You know what? Taemin's a great example because
yes,
very, very feminine presenting. Whether that's intentional or not, he has more androgynous features.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, really early on, like, when I was like fawning over him, I was like, oh my God, I'm such a simp for Taemin. Except I didn't say simp because that wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, but he looks like a girl. Like, what?
Like, yeah, like it was really derogatory, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like, I don't, and this is like something that I found, like even going into uni, like people being like, I wouldn't date Asian guys because I think they look too feminine.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like not worded in that way, but implied.
Ooh,
and
that's heavy.
The thing, like I feel like Asian, like I don't know about East Asian guys, but because I can't speak to them, but South Asians have this chip on their shoulder where they feel like they need to be this like ultra like mask guy.
So like, oh, you have to provide for your family. You have to like do typically gendered things.
Yeah, but also like the dudes at uni that I like, all the Asian guys were like super like on a fuckboy level of I've never even seen before. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Like, super. They're like on roids, man. Like, they just want to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, what you would typically associate with, like, masculine traits.
Yeah. And I think it is because this, like, fear of appearing feminine, you know, and they're therefore, by default, gay.
When was the connection made between being feminine and gay?
Yeah. Where was the connection between gender and sexuality? Please tell me.
It's so confusing. And obviously we're talking a lot about clothing or styling. This is another question I genuinely have. How are clothes gendered? Because, okay, so if we go prime example in the West, Scotland, men used to wear kilts. Some still do. Does that mean that they're any less of a man because they're wearing that?
Yeah.
If anything,
it's so strange
like,
to me.
Yeah, it's so strange.
To like, you know, even, I don't know, like the Romantics period, right?
Yeah.
Ruffles, and men were very wearing makeup even, right? Like, and that was seen as like super mask. Like,
it was the norm, and obviously
it was the norm. Like, nobody gave a shit.
Exactly. It just goes to prove that we're just in another one of those time loops that means, oh, this is where this thing, particularly right now, at this specific point in time, isn't acceptable. But, you go back like a few decades and it's like, oh my God, we celebrate it because it's the norm. It is so weird.
It's so strange. Like, I mean, this is funny as well, because I mean, talking about gendered clothing, right? I don't know, like, I feel very fluid with my fashion sometimes.
Definitely.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but, you know, I feel there are days when I really want to, like, butch it up, you know? Like, I like to be more androgynous, and...
Oh, definitely,
like, I love it. And then there are other days where I want to be hyper femme.
Yeah.
And I love the fluidity of it.
It's the choice of being able to do that. And obviously because we're women, who's going to stop us?
I feel, you know, I think men in that regard don't have that freedom in that sense to explore and be more diverse in how they present themselves and how they choose to, like I said, I love being able to appear androgynous. Like, if my mom's like, you look like a little boy, I'm like, yes.
Like, you revel in it.
I revel in it. I love it. You know, it's because I love the fluidity of it, and I like to kind of, I don't know.
It literally has to do with being able to do what you want.
Yeah, and just having that freedom to do it.
And I couldn't imagine, like, obviously, do you ever get those thoughts of like, oh, I wonder what I would be like if I was a guy? Yeah. I could not imagine being that different from what I am now.
Yeah, same. I think I would literally be exactly the same.
Yeah. I'm a very confident person in myself and in my beliefs and style.
Like secure.
Yeah, I feel very secure. I couldn't imagine that being extremely different if I was a man. So would I just be having a harder time because I want to be more femme or more mask on different days, and then people would ridicule me?
Yeah. It's
Like, what is that supposed to? I mean, on top of that, I'm in the queer community, but because I'm queer, would that be more acceptable? What if I was straight, a straight guy? Could I even just do what I want without people just giving me looks?
yeah, I don't know. I would like to think I'd be very much the same.
Well, obviously your upbringing would be different. So many things would be different. So
that's another thing. I would be the son my mother always wanted. And I think with that, I don't know, would I feel this pressure to kind of assimilate into this like version of masculinity that has been packaged up for me, because I don't want to appear too femme, because I don't know. Okay, so for instance, it's like that filter on Instagram, right, where it gives you a beard.
Oh yeah, it makes you look more masked. It makes you look like a guy.
Yeah. Like it makes you look like the
human version of Scar.
It makes you look like the male protagonist, love interest in a YA novel or something.
Yes.
But I remember like I wore it and I was like, oh fuck, man, I look sexy.
Oh my! And I remember you sent it to me, and I was like, where did you? I want to try that immediately. Please share it.
And I was just like, I would fuck me. I would fuck me so hard. And for me, like I like seeing myself like that sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah. I feel like, wow, I could, if I was a guy, this is exactly what I would look like, and I'd be so fit.
Or just like seeing like, you know, there's a Instagrammer that we both like, but then they also do male drag.
Oh, right.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The one that we both kind of low-key fancy. No, not even low-key, high-key.
High-key.
Yeah, like we're constantly like sending each other posts from their Insta being like, God, I wish I could do that.
God, I wish it were me.
Skill. I think that's like, I love that. But
same.
I wonder if that in itself, is that harmful to another community? Like, does that have like a
flip side to it? I've never thought about it really, because I guess it is like really unfair to sort of be like, oh yes, this is a costume I can take off and it's great.
Yeah.
Like some people don't have that privilege.
Yeah.
It's not like, I can just put on a costume because that's their life.
Yeah, and then on that, I mean, again, clothing shouldn't matter, and it should be.
Yeah.
It's not synonymous with gender, right? Like it is.
Oh, another thing that isn't synonymous with gender or sexuality, your hair.
Oh my God, yes.
I've gone through quite a few different hairstyles, and at one point, I think it was at uni, because at school, I used to have hair down to my crack. Very
right in your back crack.
Yep. But yeah, when I went to uni, I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to change. So I got it cut, and then it was quite short, like a short bob. And then I got it shaved. I had a bit on the top, and the sides and back was shaved. And I loved it. Yeah. It was great because I got to dye it different colours, and it felt really, really good. And obviously once I started growing it out again, and it started changing, I met up with one of our mutual friends, and even her mum was like, oh, I much prefer your hair like this. You just looked so gay before. Like you just look like I thought, you look like a lesbian.
Yeah.
I mean, I was dating a woman at the time, but that is besides the point.
Wasn't that wrong? Wasn't that far off?
I mean, it wasn't that far off, and I'm like, you know what?
But like, there are straight women who have
with
their hair
pixie
short,
cuts or shaved heads.
Yeah. Oh, fucking love a good shaved head.
Oh yeah, it's so sexy.
It's so sexy. But this is the thing. So my hair at the moment, I've similarly had a hair journey. I've always liked my hair short though. I've always had it like a bob.
You had a really long hair. You had really long hair when you were at school though.
Yeah, like early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had my Lego fringe. And never cut your own fringe, guys. And yeah, I remember I'd love wearing wigs, right?
Oh,
And I
yeah.
have like short hair wigs, and I love looking like almost like a femme presenting boy, essentially.
Yeah.
A
I
very-
mean, not that you can hide your chest.
No, not these double Ds. If they're double Ds, I don't know what they are. Haven't been measured in a while. Need a trip to M&S. But yeah, like I remember, and I'm very comfortable in my gender. I know I for me, I identify as a cis female. But I like to be able to have that fluidity, right? And I remember wearing those wigs and I just loved it. But I was too scared to commit, because my hair is naturally curly, so I'm just going to look like, fucking...
I mean, it does, because your hair is shorter now, when you come out the shower, you literally do have like a fro. It's beautiful. I love it.
No. I look like, oh my God, no. Lizzie McGuire, I look like Gordo. Which is funny, because he always wanted to be a director too, so...
Maybe it's just a thing.
Yeah, I was actually meant to be Gordo. I'm just manifesting into Gordo. Yeah, and then I cut my hair for the first time, and even my mum loved it. My mum, side note, my mum, speaking of hair actually, my mum has,
Alopecia.
and she lost her hair very young, so she's bald.
What, like early 20s?
No, like as a child.
Oh, wow.
Like as a child, it just fell off and started thinning, and it just all fell off.
And it never grew back?
No. And so my mum wears wigs, and as she grew older, she always wore like short hair wigs. And so when I cut my hair short, my mum was just like, oh, you look like me now. Like, she didn't even question it. She wasn't like, oh my God, are you going to get gayer? Like, that wasn't even a thing for her. She was just like, oh, that looks so nice. And even my dad was just like, oh, wow. Like my dad, especially when it got a little bit longer, like how it is now, and I would start like clipping it back so you can see my egg forehead. My dad would be like, you look like Keira Knightley from Bend It Like Beckham. And I'm just like, that's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted. But yeah.
Obviously, hair for everyone is like means different things. Like when I did shave my hair, I had my straight friends were like, I had a friend that just went, I could never do that.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? It's just hair.
And my biggest, like, I just didn't get it, because hair grows back. Obviously, if you struggle, like, if your hair grows super slow or it's not to where you want, like, whatever, if you have like somewhat healthy hair and you've never had to worry about alopecia or any other kind of stuff like that, then your hair will grow back.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? It's so funny because like some people assume that hair is very gendered, right?
Oh,
so
definitely.
Does that make my mum less of a woman because she hasn't got hair?
Hell no.
But like, femininity is so attached to hair, which is
That's true.
so
That's
interesting to me. But then you look at people like, if you look at indigenous cultures, for instance, again, long hair has cultural meaning. Again, Sikh men grow their hair very long because it has religious meaning to them. So does that make them less of a man?
It's, like no. No.
It's so strange to me.
It's literally, obviously it's a case by case basis, but you can't go up to someone. Can you, obviously, when people, I'm sure your mum's had comments where people will see her without anything on her head.
Although she did share a really nice story where she fell, like in a very public area. And then these kids, like boys, little boys, came up and helped her and like her wig fell off.
Oh.
So she was like obviously mortified and was just like, oh fuck, like embarrassed and like, flustered. Yeah. And these boys just came up, picked up her wig, helped her put it on, like made sure she was okay.
That's so sweet.
And you know what? She was just like, I was not expecting that because, boys at that age find that kind of shit funny, and anything that stands out to you as beyond the norm.
Or beyond funny as well.
Yeah, you'd say something, right? So she
definitely.
was just like, I was not expecting that, and that was so sweet. She was like, I will always remember that because that was a really nice thing.
That's so nice. Yeah.
Which is like, those boys just saw a woman who fell over,
and needed help.
No question. They didn't give a shit that she didn't have hair. Or she was wearing a wig. No, they were like, oh shit, she needs help. Let's help her get out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, that's nice.
And that's coming from kids. You know?
I know.
And
like,
kids can be mean. And that was coming from like, some boys. That's sweet.
Yeah.
And yet adults, Candace Owens can't keep her shit together because Harry Styles wore a dress. Like,
I just don't get it. Femininity and masculinity, or what people consider part of their gender, that's a very personal thing. It doesn't include you. It doesn't include anyone else. It's personal. It ain't
your business. It doesn't concern you.
Thank you. It is no one else's business besides your own. You know, I mean, we keep bringing Candace Owens up, but she's a prime example. People like her, how is it affecting you?
Why are you so pressed, is my question.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, oh, we need manly men, and like, what, to hunt fish? And you go to the supermarket, my love.
Innit? Oh yeah, isn't that what she said though?
It's like, oh, they need to be protectors and providers.
So you being a senator, or whatever the fuck she is.
She's in politics, that's all I know.
You're working. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You're a woman.
Yeah, there are tons of women who, you know, in our world believe women shouldn't have careers. They should be, you know, homemakers. And that's fine if that's what you want.
If that's what you want, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good for you. Some people don't. And for her to so strongly be against, oh, men need to be providers, men need to be, you know, like protectors. And what does that mean? Why is aggression and a lack of self-control great in your eyes?
Why is that the ideal, bro?
Maybe I just want a partner who's respectful of me, my needs and wants, and isn't a dick to other people.
Yeah. Them presenting themselves in that way has nothing to do with how they act as a person, what their traits are, like, at least in my eyes.
Oh, my eyes as well. I have to agree with you there. I think that's why we're even talking about this, because I think the reaction from the whole Harry Styles wearing a dress thing, that is what we were like, whoa, about.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that he wore a dress, but it was the incredible amount of people just hating and, you know, saying all these horrible things. And it's like, wow, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Like, okay, cool. A guy's doing what he wants to do. Great.
Innit?
You should do whatever you want to do too. Obviously, like, don't be a dick. You know.
Don't hurt anyone.
Don't hurt anyone.
But yeah, like, it should get to a point now where I think you see a dude wearing a dress on a cover of a magazine, you just go, okay, just move on.
Well, I saw that dress and I was like,
not okay.
Not okay, but you know,
because it's clapped.
Yeah, it's clapped. But that,
and also, I didn't like the combo with the blazer. You know,
I didn't like it either. No,
I wasn't feeling it. I was like, that's my real outrage.
Yeah, that's what we should be. That is a real conversation to be had.
Yeah, the dress was ugly.
Oh, well, what was that? Was it the Met? Was it one of the Met galas where he wore those high-waisted trousers and like meshy top?
Yeah. Well, the whole that specific Met Gala, the theme of it was camp.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But he looked great in that.
He looked great.
See, that is more our style, because obviously we really like wearing black clothing.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole mesh top. Oh, I love stuff like that. But
sexy.
What is so different from that to the dress?
Bruh.
Because that's feminine. That whole outfit was feminine.
Yeah. I just love that whole, oh my God, that whole Met Gala, man. That theme, like looking at people trying to, like all these straights trying to look camp, and I'm like,
not working.
I'm just like, honey, no. No.
I have to say, one of my favourite Met Galas, because I don't really care, I just look at the clothing, obviously. I think it was to do with religion.
Yeah, was it? Heavenly Bodies or something?
Something like that. And, oh man, Chadwick Boseman literally came in and told all the men how to dress.
Literally. He was like, go home.
Go home because I have arrived. It really showed that the men there were doing the bare minimum.
Minimum.
You have stylists for a reason. Please use them.
Weak
so
sauce,
weak.
bro. Weak
And then,
sauce.
oh my God, and then you'd get people like Zendaya,
And
Queen.
Rihanna turning up in that sexy Pope outfit.
Honestly, so many, oh my God, literally bringing the sauce. You know, everyone was bringing dried chicken and they brought the sauce.
Oh, rest in peace, Chadwick.
But yet, here we are, and people are still saying these things that don't make sense.
That don't make sense, man. People are still losing their shit over a fucking dress.
Oh, just, can we get like someone, I mean, you know, like, I love Harry Styles because like, obviously he's like a really good friend to the queer community.
Ally.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's an ally, okay?
Ally.
That's a good ally.
Yeah.
And like, cool, but can we just like move on?
Can we move on? It's
I'm tired of this conversation.
I think the key thing here is do what we want.
Do what we want, do what you want, and what makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, yes.
You know, I've had many comments from my mum over the years being like, why are you always wearing jeans? What about skirts and dresses? Like, maybe I'm cold. Maybe I'm cold.
Yeah, I remember like a teacher, we had a teacher who was very much like loved to perpetuate, you know, traditional feminine roles. You know the one. And one time it was like on a trip, like a school trip we were going to, and I was wearing these boots, like these vintage boots from Urban Outfitters. And they're clunky. I love clunky boots. Like,
what you would what an outsider would consider gay boots. You know, those military.
Now that I think about it, like that makes so much sense.
Yeah, like military chunky, boots. Like lesbian boots.
Yeah. And like, I remember her being like, Anne, those aren't very feminine.
Did she say that?
Yeah, bro. Straight up. She's like, they look very masculine.
It's a shoe.
I was like, they're fucking comfortable, bro. Like, what am I going to be wearing? My fucking pumps?
You know, like, especially at school when obviously you want to like feel good in yourself and you're growing up and you're figuring out how to find your own style and whatever. Especially when you're growing up and you want comfort. You're just walking around trying to be comfortable so that you can keep up with this school trip.
Bro, we're like in the airport, man. I want to wear what's comfortable. Why do I want to be wearing some stilettos, fam?
Oh, God, no. I couldn't imagine.
What I mean? Like, she was literally looking at them with like such disgust in her eyes. And I was like, if my parents don't have a problem, like, even if my parents did have a problem with them, I wouldn't fucking care. Like, I would still wear them.
Yeah.
But like,
their
if
shoes.
my parents didn't say shit,
why should
the
you?
fuck are you? Like, who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you? Like, who are you, man? I just don't get it. Like, it's so strange to me.
No one asked for your opinion, and yet
here you are speaking. Here you are with that unsolicited advice.
It's not even advice. It's just
comment.
It's like trying. It's really strange. It's like what? Okay, what was the point of saying that? What was the point? To make you feel less of a woman?
Yeah, probably.
To make you feel to make you feel like, oh, you've had this negative reaction because of something that looks typically more masculine in a shoe, might I add.
Yeah.
And so what, that you never do it again?
I don't know. Like, what was the purpose of it?
Yeah, like
what was the reason?
Like, just because you have this idea of what's feminine, like, okay, so this particular teacher, I would not look at her and her clothing style and be like, oh yes, you are peak femininity. Because she wasn't that.
No. But
yet, it's like everyone's opinions and ideals are obviously going to differ.
Yeah.
What you consider feminine could be can be masculine to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you get? What do you get out of being negative or spewing your comments that nobody asked for?
Like, people like that teacher, people like Candace Owens, I don't understand why you are so pressed. Let me just wear my lesbian boots, man.
Like, good. Do you feel validated now? Do you feel more secure in yourself? Do you feel confident?
That's the thing. It's like, do these people say it just because they're like, I'm like feeling out of touch with my own sexuality and gender, so I'm just going to be a cunt
to other people that have no relation to me whatsoever?
I don't know.
I don't know. Obviously, like, I like having these conversations because it's nice to unpack our own biases or, you know, what we think of certain things. But
yeah, because I mean, we don't get it right 100% of the time.
Not even 50, my guy.
Not even 50, you know, like, bro, we're still learning, we're still understanding, things are changing, things are evolving.
But I think that's just it. Things are changing and evolving, and people, obviously, if you don't like something, you are 100% valid in your opinion and you're entitled to it. But if you are going out of your way to be completely mean or a dick to other people, an unwarranted dick, then you need to be ready to get it as much as you're giving.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You can have your opinions just as long as it doesn't disrespect someone's existence.
Yeah. Just like entire, like being.
So basically, there's no leeway for racists, homophobes, people like that.
Yeah.
But if you're just out there just to be mean, then I don't know, maybe you should get a hobby.
Get a hobby. Basically, what we're saying is, in short, Candace Owens, shut up!
Yeah. And also the people who are bigging up Harry Styles.
Shut up!
Thank you.
Can we just talk about how ugly the dress is, though?
With the blazer, I just didn't get it.
I don't know what it is. It's the combo. It just didn't work for me. And like, I mean, normally I like a good ruffle.
I don't. I think that was my issue. I don't like a ruffle, and I didn't like the colours.
A good ruffle. And that's my main ish. And that should be what we talk about from now on, is how ugly the dress is.
Yeah. So when people... Okay, so like I see people online who absolutely love wearing colourful stuff. I would never do that. I like wearing black. I like looking like I am potentially part of the goth community.
Even though you literally have fluorescent pink hair right now.
You know what? I wear a lot of black and it goes with the pink, so sharp. But that's just it. Like,
I mean, I'm literally here dressed like a fucking
hacker
burglar.
Yeah, all head to toe in black.
Head to toe in black with a fucking beanie on top of that.
But that's what we feel comfortable in. I would never go up to someone, or even online or anywhere, look at someone who dresses completely different to me and say, ugh, God, that's so ugly, because it's not. It's what they're comfortable in. It's what they look good in. Obviously, like, if I was to wear that kind of clothing that's completely different to my style, I would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like, it's what you're comfortable in. And you should just be allowed to do that and allowed to exist in that way. And people should move the fuck on.
Please. Pick a different fight. Pick a different hill to die on.
Yeah, like...
This is the hill people are willing to end it on.
This is it.
But it's funny, like, there's just more important things. It's cool. Let people just do what they want, man. Yeah. And that's just it. I think that's all I have to say on it.
Can everyone just shut up?
Everyone, shut up.
Shut up. Oh, I love that chick.
I love that chick. She's so funny.
She's so funny.
But, yeah, that's it, my guy.
I think that's all we've got to say really about that.
Just let people do what they want, just as long as they're not harming themselves or others.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, a dude wearing a dress isn't harmful.
No. So that was this episode of Really Bitch. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tune in next time when we talk about some more shit, really. And
I hope you have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, man.
Hey.
Hey.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bitch.
The crumbling of patriarchy. That's a manly man.